So you need to hide it. But if you hide it, then you don't see it before 5 because the explosion is set to 5. So what you need is you need to put keyframes to the other text that we just hidden. If you unhide all, you get that text here. So it's very simple. What you need to do is just select the text, auto key first. So bring it to 5, auto key, right click, object properties, bring it to 0. Okay, so now we get the keyframes here. So we are telling it that here its visibility is full and then it goes down to 0. But we need to change the keyframes, move the keyframes because the explosion starts at 5. So the text is visible till 5, and of course at 5 it detonates and blows up. So then we need to turn the visibility to 0 here, so that then you see the other text in the fragments. Okay. Now if you select the camera, this side looks. Some of the text you can see that they are just penetrating the surface of the floor. If you want to fix that, then you have to move the deflector up a layer bit. Yeah. You need to bring the camera up a layer bit because it's too close to the floor. Okay, so now let's add the other effects as well. First, let's animate the camera. Okay, so here the camera is, and now you want the camera to move through it as it explodes. So let's put a random key here, from where it starts. Let's say if it starts from here, just near the edge, put an auto key and move it through it. There. So let's see how it goes. It's a bit fast, so what we can do is move the keys back to 30. Let's see how it goes now. That's much better. But again, it's all up to you how you want it. If you want it slow, then you can still move it up. Okay. Now let's add lights to it. This is very important. Okay. Let's add a light. I assume you know the panels here. This is the lights, and if you go to Omni, go to top view, just put a light near the camera. Okay. So move the light up a little bit to the camera level, and now if you go to intensity is 1. Now you need near attenuation and far attenuation because you don't want to light up the whole area, So for that, you need to check all of these. And this is just one light that you have added. Now bring this light a bit close to the scene, to the explosion, so that you just see it. There you are. Can move it a little bit more. Okay, that's better. Now add another light right on top of the text. Same Omni light, same way. Click it, and so by default attenuation is checked already now for us because we have checked the first light. So here the light is. Now we change the light color here to a bit orangish. Now we need to turn on the shadow maps for that. So we want to have shadow of the explosion text. Turn on the shadow for the other light as well. Let's move this light, the one that is above explosion, a bit forward so that we can see the text. Yeah, much better. Now it depends what kind of shadows do you want. So if you go down to the shadow section, shadow map parameters, you say bias to 0.01, which is so that it immediately starts from the edge of the text. Otherwise it's a kind of a distance thing, you know, it distances the text. So here if we double it and turn it to 10, you'll have a nice soft shadows. Let's do the same to the other light. That's 0.01, 1024 and 10. Right, so we need to add one more light, final light from here, so that's coming from here, this side. Okay, let's see how this light looks. We need to move this light up a little bit. And okay, one thing that we need to do is attach the light to the camera. You know, the first light that we put, this one, to the camera, so that it moves with the camera as the camera is moving. So we go to link, chain link here, select it and select the light, and of course, and bring it to the camera. So in this way our light, as you can see, our light is moving with the camera. You can also change, you can also select it from here. Okay, so here we are in the camera view again, and this is how it's looking right now. This whole thing is a bit is lit up a little more. So what we can do is we need to adjust the lights. This light here, we want to tell this light to exclude the floor and the rest of the materials, except the text. So if you go to light section, you go to exclude, select all the planes, because you don't want the light to illuminate or cast shadow on the plane, on the floor, because it's already there. You don't need it. So we just want this light to illuminate the text and text. So go to the materials, turn up the glossiness and the specular level to, let's say, 66 and 36, and we'll keep it blend. The specular color to be a bit orange is because it's going to be, you know, fire effect. Okay, now we can turn this light down a little bit, let's say 0.7. One thing I've noticed in the material that is the bump map is missing, and so let's go and back to the material and apply bump mapping to it. So all we need to do is just copy this one, drag this one and put it on bump, and you say instance, and if you turn this up to 60, and also if you go to noise parameters and check fractal, and let's see how the effect is. That's much better. One more thing I've noticed is that the texture need to be more closer. So if we select the middle, let's say the middle part where explosion happens, and we go to UV mapping and click it, highlight it, and we go to scale, and then we see here the map, and we just scale it down a little bit more, because at the moment you see cranes. So let's see how it looks now. These are the small tweaks that you can see. Now it looks nice here. These are small things that you can adjust as well, since it's a tutorial, so there are so many things that are missing probably. These small touches, that makes it look nicer. These are the things that you should always experiment to get the best effect. Okay, so far the whole thing looks nice. Now the final thing that we need to put is the fire effect and the smoke effect. For fire effect, we'll go to helpers. In helpers, you scroll down to atmospheric apparatus, and from here we get sphere gizmo, and we'll put it in the front viewport just near our text, so that it covers the whole text. Yeah. Okay, we just fix it from the side as well. Okay, so now let's see how it looks. So we go to we need to add a fire effect. So in the fire effect, we scroll down, and since it's set, so let's see how it looks. So you can see a fireball there already. So, but you need to set an explosion. So if you click explosion, it comes with explosion and smoke, and you set up the explosion that our explosion starts at 5. So of course we'll set it to start the time to 5, and we say OK, and then we see the flame details and the density. Let's do the density to 10 and samples to 2 and the flame detail to 10. Okay, so let's see how it looks. So you go to setup, 25. So explosion starts at 5, and as it approaches the camera, it's changing into smoke. Cool. Now you want the smoke to, of course, move as well. Then we need to put keyframes in the drift. So let's say the drift is set to 50 at keyframe 30. Drifting. Okay, I've noticed the light here needs to go down a little bit. It has to be 0.7, and change the color to a bit yellowish. Yeah. Okay. One last thing is to apply motion blur to PRA. So select the fragments, right click, object properties, and in object properties go to motion blur. In motion blur, check image and set it to 0.5. I have set it to 0.5. It's all up to you. I suggest you experiment with this panel here. You can select either object or image, and then you can change the value as well to get a good result. So click OK, and let's see how it looks. Okay, that's good enough. So now the final thing is to put it to render. Render here, and this panel completely depends on your project setting. Now what kind of project settings do you have? So if you want PAL, you can go to PAL, and you can go to NTSC, and all these settings are here. So I have just chosen custom, which is 640 by 480, is also NTSC. And if you scroll down and then you go to save file, in save file you just click here and give it an output where you want to save, and then give it a name. So I have used the format is PNG. PNG I've used because it has got alpha channel, and also it takes less space in the hard drive. You can also use Targa TGAs, which is to get good and better qualities, but it takes more hard drive space. So then you have to do is to click save and then click render. So the boring part has ended, so I'll see you in After Effects. Okay, we are back in After Effects. This is what I've done previously, which we'll achieve in a second. Okay, this is the 3D render from 3D Studio Max. Let's make a new comp first and put a shape layer behind it as a background. Let's move this up to get a nice effect. Put it under explosion. Let's add another layer to it, which will be our cloud layer. Let's write cloud and put it under explosion as well. We go to effects, and from there go to noise and fractal noise. Fractal type, which we'll say dynamic. Now the evolution, we'll give it a movement. So what we'll do is set a keyframe here at frame 0. So we need to increase the evolution a bit more. So now let's see how it works. Okay, what we need to do is to change it into a 3D layer. Click R, and then we change its rotation so that we get a perspective view. Move it up, then increase the size, scale it up so we get a nice perspective cloud. Now if we go to transform, from there let's offset it, as because our camera is moving, so we want them to move towards the camera as well. So let's put a keyframe at frame 0, and the last frame let's move them towards us. Let's see how this looks. This looks good enough. What we can do is right click and overlay. So this gets the color of the layer underneath it, and we can turn down the opacity as well. Okay, now the next thing is we apply a wiggle effect to the cloud and the explosion, because as it explodes we want everything to shake, so it explodes here. So what we can do is we click P for position, put a keyframe here and another keyframe probably here, and let's put a keyframe for the cloud as well. So let's do it together. P position, another keyframe here. So let's see, 35 magnitude, also 35, and we say apply to the cloud as well. Well, it looks good enough. Okay, let's add an adjustment layer. So On the adjustment layer, let's add curves. In curves, let's play with the settings here a little bit to get a good effect, good colors. So let's go to green, move it up a little bit. Okay, blue. Quite like the green. Okay, one more thing we can apply is go to effects, color correction, and photo filter. So this kind of gives you a warm filter as well. So I want it to look a bit cold at the same time a bit warm as well, so you can get the desired effect. Okay, let's see how it looks. We have a bit of space here. You can apply motion tile to it. And then you can increase the output. You still see this background here, this shape there, I think. You scale it up. Yeah, that's the one. But since you apply a wiggle to it, that's why the whole thing moves, which is why you get these funny edges, which you can fix with motion tile, or scale it up simply. So here we are. One more thing though, to spice it up, which is we'll apply motion blur to our layer, to our explosion and cloud layer. So let's see how it looks now. So we have come to the end of the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I have tried to keep it short and simple and sweet. So hope to see you next time as well. If you have any questions, please do email me about the tutorial, or if you have any other tutorial that you have in your mind, then I can do it for you as well. So keep in touch, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Once again, my name is Shuaib Khan. Assalamu alaikum.